Hi sis, I welcome you all back to my channel. I am Aisha. In this video, I will be showing you how to cut and sew this collar crop top and a flace skirt. Thank you all for your support. God bless you all. If you are new to my channel, kindly click on the subscribe button. Don't forget to turn on your notification bell so that whenever I upload a new video, you will be notified. Stay tuned to the end of the tutorial. I will be making use of this dry lace. I will be cutting the skirt aspect first. For the skirt, you fold your material in bias form this way. You fold it into 4 this way. You can see it. This is the center of the skirt. I will be explaining 2 ways of cutting this skirt. There will be zip at the back aspect of the skirt and at the front aspect of the skirt. If you want it buttoned down at the front aspect, you must fold it this way for you to get the folding aspect at the center of the front aspect. I will be taking the waist measurements. You divide your waist by 4. After folding the 2 inches that we use for the zip allowance and the center front, you take your waist measurement and add the inches that you will use in joining it at the side to it. 1 inch or 1.5, and give it curve shape this way. You can see. Cross check if the measurement is okay. I will be taking the length measurement. I will be adding band to it at the upper part, which is 2 inches band. After the 2 inches, you take the full length measurement and add the folding allowance for the folding at the down aspect to it. You take the measurement all around. Now I will be cutting it out. After cutting this flare out, for the front aspect, I will need to reduce the side by 2 inches. The 2 inches that we use in folding it at the center, because I will not be making use of button down. I will just place 2 inches wide at the center and place my button on it. I want mine in that white color skirt. This is the 2 flare for the front and the back aspects. You come to the center of the 2 flare. You notch it at this down part and at the upper part for us to indicate the center part before we separate it. I'll be cutting out the inner side pocket of the skirt. I'm making use of 8 inches for the wideness and 9 inches for the length. From the upper part, I'll measure 7 inches. That's where our curve will start from. Give it curve this way. I'll be cutting 2 pieces of it. I have the 2 pieces. You shape it this way. This is the front aspect. I've cut out the 3 inches wide that I will place at the center of the front aspect. You can see. Now we use chalk to indicate the center front. You place it this way and use your chalk to indicate the center of the front aspect. Because I'm not using button down, I will place the button on it after sewing these pieces. You pick the pieces we cut for the center. You fold it into 2 for you to get the center line this way, and use your office pin to hold it down so that both sides will be equal. Please give this video a thumbs up, and if you are new to my channel, click on the subscribe button, and don't forget to turn on your notification bell so that whenever I upload a new video you will be notified. I'll be folding it at both sides and place sewing on it downward. This is it. I'll be picking the back aspect. For the back aspect, we'll be fixing the zip on the back aspect, and we need to remove the 2 inches for the band on the zip, and we will place it this way for us to get the length where our zip will stop, and you sew it downward from this point. This is it. I've sewn it downward. I'll be cutting out the pocket lapel. You fold it this way to cut 2 pieces of it because we will need to double it. You measure 3 inches, and I'll be coming down by 5 inches here at the center. Use your ruler or French curve to shape it this way. For the wideness, I will be making use of 3 inches for the wideness. I will be cutting 4 pieces of it, 2 pieces for each. I will be placing sewing on the side and the down aspect with 1/2 inch. This is it. You notch the sharp corner and turn it to the front aspect. You follow the shape and top stitch on it all round. This is it. I've top stitched on it all round. For the fixing of the pocket, you pick the side of the front and the side of the back aspect together this way. And from the upper part, we measure 1.5 inch. That's where our 1.5 inch stop. After 1.5, you measure 6.5. That's the opening of the pocket. You sew 1.5, and after the 6.5, downward. This is it. I've sewn both sides. Now I'll be placing the pocket lapel on the front aspect at the opening side. This is it. This is the front. You place it at the opening side this way and sew it on the front aspect. Front aspect. This is it. I've placed the lapel and the inner pocket at this side, but I have not placed the inner pocket at this side. I will be showing you how to do that. For the inner pocket, you sew the upper part with 1/2 inch this way, this upper part, and from here you leave the 6.5 inch. You measure the 6.5 inch, and from there you sew it to this side. So this other side will be opening. You can see this is it. I've sewn it. We have it this way. You pick the pocket and place it at the side of the skirt this way, the opening side. You use your office pin to hold it. From the point where the opening starts, it must be equal on both the pocket and the main skirt. You flip it to the other side and pin this other side to it also. Now I'll be placing sewing on it. You can see that's our pocket. Just for me to place the sewing on it, you place your sewing on it downward. This is it. I have the pocket on both sides. I'll be adding the band to it. You make use of your waist measurement for the band plus the 2 inches for the zip allowance and the wideness of the band. I'm making use of 5 inches. You pick the band and place it at the back aspect of the skirt. From the back aspect this way and sew it all round. This is it. I've sewed it all round. Now I will be folding it to the front aspect. You flip it to the front aspect this way and fold it in. You take your measurement, your 2 inches for the band to the front and fold it in this way. I will be using my office pin to hold it down all round. I will be placing sewing on it all round. This is it. I've fixed the zip to the back aspect also. You can see. And at the down aspect, I'll fold the down aspect in also. You fold it all round. Now we are done with the skirt. I will be placing the button at the center point this way. You measure 3 inches. 3 inches interval for the button. And you place button on the lapel also. That's the end of the skirt. For the crop top, this is the starting point. I'll be drafting it on this paper first before placing it on the main fabric. The full length I'm using is 19 inches. You can decide to reduce the length of yours depending on how you want it. At this center front, I will be making use of ½ inch at this center front because we are cutting a collar top. You make it a straight line. I will be taking the bust length. The bust length I'm using is 10.5. You make it a straight line. The shoulder measurement I'm using is 15 inches. You divide it by 2. I have 7.5. I will be coming down for the armhole length by 8.5. Here you measure the 7.5 also and make it a straight line for us to create our armhole length. I will be taking the bust span measurement, which is your nipple to nipple measurement. I'm making use of 8 inches. You divide it by 2. I have 4 inches. You take the measurement on both the bust line and the waist line and make it a straight line. From the bust line, I will be coming down by 1 inch and I will be making use of 1 inch for the dart, half inch at each side. You draw your dart leg this way. I'll come to the neck. I will be taking the width of the neck and making use of 2.5. I will be taking 1 inch at the armhole length for us to create our shoulder slope. The remaining measurements here, you divide it by 2 for us to look for the midpoint of the armhole. I'm taking the circumference measurements. You divide your circumference measurement by 4. The bust and the waist by 4. And you shape it this way. For the depth of the neck, I'll be making use of 3 inches. You give it a curve shape this way. I'll be going inward by 1 inch at the midpoint of the armhole because this is the front aspect. Now we create our armhole curve. You connect the neck to the center this way. I'll be cutting it out. You can determine the depth of the collar by taking the depth of the neck. I'll be making use of 8.5. That's where my 8.5 stop. So I will be folding it this way. To indicate where the upper collar will stop, from this point, I'll measure 3 inches. You can decide to make use of 2.5. That's the point where the upper collar will stop. You can see. Now I'll be placing it on the main fabric to cut it out. I'll be adding 1/2 inch to it all round. At the neck, the shoulder, the armhole, and at the side, I'll be adding 2 inches to it because I want it to be free. It's a free top. So I'll be adding 2 inches inseam allowance to it at the side. I had 2 inches to it at the bust and 3 inches to it at the waist because at the waist I will be adding dart allowance to it. You return your dart allowance to it. Now we have the front aspect. This is how we are going to fold it. I will be cutting the facing for the front aspect. You pick another fabric and place the front aspect on it this way. Make sure the wideness of the facing is wider than the neck, the width of the neck, and you cut it out. Same length with the top. We have the facing for the front aspect. For the back aspect, I've cut it out because we will be adding collar to it. You will need to add 1 inch to it at the shoulder and 1/2 inch for the joining of the shoulder together, making 1.5. And I will be coming down for the depth of the neck by 1 inch at the back aspect. And for the armhole, you return the inches that we remove from the front armhole, you return it back to the back armhole with 1/2 inch and add the necessary allowance to the side. At the back aspect, I will be making use of 16.5 with the joining allowance because I will be adding the edge of the lace to it. I will use it to add gathers to it at the down aspect for the back aspect. So you minus the inches for the edge of the lace. This is how to cut the edge of the lace. Just cut it straight. Now for the sewing part, I'll be using the facing to turn the main body. You pick the main body. From the center neck, you measure 3 inches inward. This way. You indicate the 3 inches on the other side of the fabric. That's where our sewing will start from. You pick your facing, you place it on it. This way. You go inward by 0.7 and sew it downward. Sew it round and downward this way. Let me do that on both sides. This is it. I've sewn both sides. I will need to notch it. From that point that we start our sewing, you notch it round this way. After notching, you turn it to the front aspect. I'll be placing sewing on the neck. I've sewed the neck. Now I'll be using this hemi gum to fold the facing in. You place it on it this way. You cut it to the size and fold it on it. You fold the edge of the facing in and use your iron to gum it this way. At the down aspect here, because I'm making use of the edge of the lace, I'll be using the hemi gum to fold the edge of the facing in for it to lay and look neat. You can see this is it. We have it on both sides. I'll pick the back. I'll be joining it at the center. From the bust line to the waist, I give it a dart shape by sewing it this way for it to lay at the back by the time we put it on. I will be trimming it out, the excess. For the dart, I'm making use of 4 inches. You can see that's the dart. You notch it. For the bust point, after the joining allowance at the shoulder, I'll come down by 10.5 for the bust line, and I will add 1 inch. I'll go upward back by 1 inch. That's 9.5. So I'll measure my 4 inch. That's where our dart is for the back dart. You indicate it at the other side. I will be sewing the dart. You pick it this way and sew it. This is it. We have our back dart. You can see. Now I will be taking that on the front aspect also. I will be making use of that same 4 inches. This is the 4 inches. And I will take the pattern. I will measure the dart on the pattern. I'm making use of 7.5 for the length of the dart. That's 7.5. Same 4 inches from the center point. I will need to open this side that I gum. I will gum it back after taking the darts on both sides. Let me do that. This is it. You can see. Now I will pick both the front and the back aspect and I will join it at the shoulder with 1/2 inch. Let me do that. This is it. I've joined it together. Now we will be taking the measurement of our collar. From where the sewing stop, you measure it all round. You can see you stop at that point. You take your measurement, make sure the measurement is accurate. I will be drafting the collar on this pattern paper first before cutting it on the main fabric. You drew a straight line. You divide whatever you have there. I have 12 inches. You divide it into 2. That's 6 inches. So I measure 6 inches and I will be coming up by 3 inches. You can decide to make yours wider than this. You can decide to use 3 or 4 inches for the wideness of your collar. But for me, I'm making use of 3 inches. You make it a straight line that way. From the upper part, I will be coming down by 0.7. Use your ruler to straighten it this way. And here I'll be coming up by 0.5. You use your curve, the curvy part of your French curve to curve it. You can see you curve it this way. And I'll come to the side of the collar. I'll be going outerward by 1 inch. You measure 1 inch. Use your curvy part of your French curve to curve it this way. Now I'll be cutting it out. Here you cross-check the measurement we took on the main body, if it's the same. When placing it on the main fabric, you add ½ inch to it all round. You fold your fabric into two this way and add ½ inch to it. You know the fabric is on fold. I will be cutting 3 pieces of this because this is dry lace. Supposing it's Ankara, you need just only 2 pieces. But because this is dry lace and I won't be adding stay to it, I'll be making use of Hemi gum to gum 2 of it together. I'll place Hemi gum on it and gum it together, the 2 pieces, this way. For us to get that standing effect, you use your iron to gum it. This is it. I've done that. Now I will be placing the 2 together this way. I will need to sew it. You measure ½ inch. After that ½ inch, you go inward by ½ inch also and sew it round to this other side, and you leave ½ inch at this down part. Let me do that. I've done that. This is it. We need to notch it. You trim it. You know this is lace. You trim it to the minimum and notch it. You turn it to the right side, and we need to iron it. I'll be folding one side of the hem seam in this way. The ½ inch, you fold it in this way on one side of it, and you leave the other side of it. Now I will be placing it on it. You place it on the back aspect of the main body. You place the collar on the back aspect of the main body, as in the wrong aspect of the fabric. And use your pin to hold it this way. Now I'll be sewing it with ½ inch. This is it. I've done that. You can see the sewing. Now I will need to trim it off a bit for it to lay. Now you pick the one that will fold in. You push it in that way. You can see. And place your sewing on it downward. This is it. I've done that. Now we are done with the collar. I will need to add the one for the back aspect. For the pleats, I'll be adding it to it at the back aspect. You pleat it on it. Let me do that. This is it. I've pleat it. And this is the sleeve. I've cut out the sleeve. I'll be folding the edge of the sleeve with the hemi gum also. This is it. I've done that on both sleeve. Now I will need to hold the center of the front together this way with office pin. First, before joining it at the side, I will be sewing the sleeve on it, on the main body, and I will be joining it at the side. Let me do that. This is it. I'm done with the sewing. Just for the buttonhole and the fixing of the button, and I will need to weave the inner. This is the end of the tutorial. Give this video a thumbs up, share with your friends. If you are new on this channel, please click on the subscribe button, turn on your notification bell so that you will be notified whenever I upload a new video. Watch out for my next tutorial. Thanks for watching. Bye.